Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Kol HALALYAM La, AHBANAWA, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostles and our elders of great millstone, who will teach well and sound doctrine to this very day. Strong shalom to the whole for elect scattered abroad. Greetings, right? It's your brother Kadash coming back with a quick, well, I won't say quick, but just a quick, I keep saying that word quick. I was having a conversation with a younger brother in the truth, and the brother was he was stumbling over the word her, so the title of this lesson is wisdom. Is wisdom actual her? Okay. Because we have to understand this, all right. This is it's a mixture. So let's just say it's a well balanced plate, Lord willing. This is edifying of milk and a little bit of meat in there, because is wisdom an actual her? Well, before I go into it, you gotta understand that you gotta watch who you being taught by. All right, the Lord have set up men, holy men, in these days, especially the worst time to ever hit the planet Earth, to be able to guide us and teach us through the spirit and power of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. The name of the Father is Yahweh. The name of the Son is YAHAWASHI. We have to have men set up so that we can be properly guided and be well balanced mentally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Okay. So the doctrine that we uphold is everything, because the doctrine determines one's salvation. You cannot be out here just shooting from the hip. It's a lot of bug outs out here, and a lot of doctrines, and a lot of anti-Hamashiachim. Okay, meaning a lot of anti-Christ. Okay, the Antichrist. So, real quick, if I can, I'm gonna grab Job 11:4. It says, "For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes." And Salakia, because I actually did this lesson already, and it had no sound. So here we are doing it again, and the Spirit is gonna give it to you again, how it's supposed to be delivered. Again, it says Job 11:4, "For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes." Okay. So we uphold a pure, clean doctrine, okay? A doctrine that's undefiled, untouched, unmatched, undefeated, okay? And this doctrine comes with secrets, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, life, okay? Immortality, redemption, salvation, recompense, vengeance, rulership, rest. That's what this doctrine brings. And what did Yahawashi say? Yahawashi said it himself. He said, "My doctrine is not mine." Okay, John 7:16, it says, Yahawashi answered them and said, "My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me." Why? Because this doctrine comes from the heavens. This is a heavenly doctrine. Okay, the woman being a form of saying a woman, or wisdom is a woman, is saying what the Kemetic community or the conscious community says, that the black woman is God. Okay, that's basically what that is. Now it goes back to the Aphrodite's worship, or Semiramis worship. Okay, the Queen of Heaven worship. So is wisdom an actual her? We got to get understanding. So if wisdom would be an actual woman, well, then why would the scriptures say through her we all died? You see, you got, when you're referencing and you're teaching, you have to remember the scriptures. Okay, this is Sirach 25:24. It says, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin." The scriptures tell you that sin is death. So through the woman came death into the world. It says, "And through her we all die." So a woman cannot be wisdom that the scriptures is talking about. Okay, therefore there will be no wisdom. Is wisdom an actual her? If through her we die, then how can wisdom be a woman? In order to get this concept and understand this, you have to first what? Understand the role of a woman. The Lord set up the roles, and everybody has their lot. It's the father, son, okay, man, woman, child. Who is wisdom? Who is wisdom? You understand roles and lots and order, and okay, you understand a different plethora of things. Well, you have to understand who is Yahawashai, but who is wisdom. Because first, you got to understand. Let's get this. I'm gonna get a quick example. First Kings 4. Like I said, we're gonna go straight to the point. First Kings 4:29. It says, "And the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding, exceeding much, and largeness of heart," meaning largeness of mind, increasing of mind, even as the sand that is on the seashore. So the sand on the seashore, you can't go out to the sand to the beach and count the sand on the seashore. Meaning that Solomon had a broad band of knowledge. Okay, he had increased wisdom. That's why it says understanding exceeding much. The scriptures say who's wiser than Solomon. Okay, but also didn't the scriptures say that a wiser than Solomon has come, because Yahawashi is Solomon, his many carnations. And you go into the lesson, or you go into my channel, or you type in YouTube search Kadash, SOZ, Yahawashi many incarnations or reincarnations. I forgot how I said it, but I went into how Yahawashi was Solomon, how he was Isaac, and how he was the first Adam, how he's the last Adam, all that through the spirit and power of Yahawashi. Because the scriptures don't contradict themselves. So Solomon's wisdom was increased as the number on the seashore, which is the sand. It says 30, and Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Chakol, and Darda, the sons of Mahal, and his fame was in all nations round about. Right, because the scriptures tell you that wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. When you go to Ecclesiastes 8:1, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Okay, so this is how you know that wisdom is not actual. Another reason why you can know that wisdom is not an actual woman, because that's why the Lord have it where the men can only understand the scriptures and the breakdown and the mysteries and the secret, because of order. If a woman can do it, she won't need a man to teach her. Yes, some things are plain to understand, but the man, her husband, breaks them down to her and teaches her, and she teaches the children. Okay, the deep, dark parables and sayings. So a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Okay, that's why I highlighted for where the word of a king is, there is power, and who may say unto him, what doest thou? So where the king is, there is power, and where his word is, there is power. That's why this word is established, which is the word of the Lord, Yahawah, right? And a man uphold that because he's a king or a prince. When you think about Deuteronomy chapter 4, it tell you there are wise and understanding people. Who is like these people? They're near unto their power, because we had wisdom. We walked in wisdom. We walked in that light, the ultimate light. You understand? So, like it says, wisdom make up a man face to shine. So when you go back to First Kings chapter 4 and going to 32, it says, and that's why it says, and his fame was all in all nations, because he was shining. Okay, And it's 32. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar trees that is in Lebanon, right? Got gigantic trees, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, from all kings of the earth which had heard of his wisdom. You see? So this wisdom is inspired by the heavens. Okay, it's the same wisdom that was breathed into Adam, which is also Yahawashi, the first man, the first righteous man. When you go to Genesis 2:7, it says, "And the Lord, or Yahawah, Elohim, formed man of the dust of the ground, confusion, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." Right? So man, this is the first righteous man on the earth, because when you go to Genesis 1, right, we understand how when men were created. I'm not gonna go into all of that, but men were created on a specific day, okay, at a specific time. And then you had Adam, the first righteous man that came amongst the people. That was the first fruit. Okay. So when you go into this word breath, right, in Genesis 2:7, right, because you got breathe and you got breath, which is nashama, okay.
Strong's H 5397. Neshama. Neshama.
Right, shit, it's like yeah. Nashama. It says breath, spirit, right? The breath of God. It says every breathing, and it says spirit of man. Okay, go down to the Strongs. It says what? Wind, divine inspiration, intellect. Okay, intellect. You see, soul, spirit. So when the scriptures talk about he had made him of a quickening understanding, meaning he made him alive. Okay, that breath, it was quick. Okay, lively. Okay. So this wisdom that's ordained by the heavens is heavenly inspired. That was breathed into Adam. And and how do you know that? Because the breath that was breathed in him, he automatically had the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. When you go to 2 Ezra 3 and 4, it says, "O Lord, who bears rule, thou spakest at the beginning." You see, his word is established, and by his word that wisdom reigned, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. You see, that's that nashama, that breath, that ruach. Some people say ruach, but that raha, right? That was breathed into Adam, and he became living. Okay, because when we was according to Ezekiel 37, we were in a dead state. We were dead. We weren't living. We had no breath in us. Okay. It says, "And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand planted, before ever the earth came forward." Right, that right hand is Yahawashi. "And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way." How do you know? Because Eve and Adam and Eve, they already knew what to do. Okay. Yahweh explained to them, not to take on these philosophies and these strange gods and these doctrines. Okay. Not to take on these things because they pollute you. Okay. It says, "And unto him," and he said, "you should surely die." Why you think Adam didn't die immediately? Because he was tainted in the mind. Okay, so therefore now death is brought upon him. You see, it says, "Unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and he immediately thou appointest death in him, and his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number." So when you go to 2 Corinthians, right, 11 and 3, it says what? "But I fear lest by any means as the serpent beguiled." When you go into that word beguiled, it means to seduce. So he seduced Eve's mind with another doctrine. A strange woman we took on. Beguiled Eve through his subtlety, his craftiness, his cleverness. So your minds, you see, shall be corrupted from the simplicity that is Hamashiach. It's a simple thing to know who wisdom is. But now our minds has been tainted to the fact that we can't even grasp the simplicity of Hamashiach, Yahawashi. This pure doctrine. Right? Because when you go to Proverbs 8, Yahawashi is wisdom. Let's go straight to the point. Let's start at 22. I highlighted it already. Proverbs 8 and 22. Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. Matter of fact, let me start up. 12. I wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. So wisdom is speaking. Okay? And this is a proverb from Solomon. Solomon is Yahawashi. Wisdom. Me. Okay? If you read all this, it's talking about wisdom. By me, kings reign. By me, princes rule. We're going to read, that's the Yahawashi, man. When you keep going, it says 22, Yahweh possessed me. Well, isn't Yahawashi the first creation? Yahweh possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. You see? Before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, because look, the sheet that the brother was getting. See, now I'm not gonna go to the message, okay, that the brother was sending me, because he isn't a faith, and he's not like a scoffer on the comment board, all right? So I'm briefly going through this, but when it was getting tripped up by wisdom and Solomon, we're gonna start at 22. For wisdom is the worker of all things, you see, and that's what we're reading in Proverbs 8. Wisdom did all these things. Yahawashi was given the blueprint by Yahweh. It says, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit. You see, holy, one only, because Yahawashi said, me and my Father are one. I see it not robbery to be one with the Lord or be on the same accord as the Lord, is what he's saying. Manifold, roughly paraphrasing, manifold, right? Multiple things, like a multiple understandings, levels, but one understanding, if that makes sense. Subtle, clever, lively, clear, right? Alive, undefiled, untouched, a virgin, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, austere, right? Sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passive. So this is where the brother's getting tripped up. She passive and goeth through all things by the reason of her pureness. He was having a conversation with another guy, and the guy was talking about, see, that's why women are the wisest on the earth, or something to that effect. But no, through her we all die. So how she's the wisest? It says, for wisdom is more moving than any emotion. She passive and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath, the neshama of the power of Yahweh, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. You see? A direct layer from the Lord, Yahweh, given to his son. His son has given it to his elect men, and the rest is history. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her, right? Because the Lord is all being. He is, man. That's what his name means. Yahweh. Yah means he. Hawa means be or is, exist. 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. So this wisdom is the image. Who's the image of the Lord? Who's the image of Yahweh? Yahawashi. I came in my Father's name. We're going to get that in Colossians, because Colossians 1 links directly up with Proverbs 8. 27 says, and being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself. We're gonna get the understanding, Lord willing, of why it's using her. Why is it using the feminine Understanding. Why is it using a feminine approach here? It says, and being one, she can do all things and remaining in herself. She maketh all things new and in all ages entering into holy souls. She maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. This what wisdom do. The Lord told you that already in St. John chapter 15. The Lord says, St. John 15 and 14, ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. And that's the wisdom. You see? That's that wisdom. That's why Isaiah 33 and 6 said, wisdom, knowledge and wisdom should be wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our time. Because the only thing that's going to be able to keep us sane and focused and alive in these days is the breath of life, which is this word. Yahawashi is the word, which is this wisdom. Yahawashi is the wisdom. That light. Yahawashi is the Yahawashi is the embodiment and a walking embodiment of the mind of Yahweh, man. And the elect are joint heirs and with that understanding. So the Lord already told us this, because when you go to Wisdom of Solomon 3, because it's a counterpart to this. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 10, but the ungodly shall be unpunished according to their own imaginations, right? It says, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. The righteous is that wisdom. For whoso despiseth wisdom, there it goes. It gives you the answer. And nurture. Okay? And nurture. Which is why, I gave it away. The scriptures is using a feminine tone because it's this Bible is a nurturer. And before I get into that, let's hold this. Let's go back to Proverbs 8, right? It says, the Lord possessed me, right? Wait, did I finish Wisdom of Solomon 7? And that's why it says here, Wisdom of Solomon 7:28, for the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Because that means you uphold to his son. That means you uphold to the mind of Yahweh. You see, meaning you're near unto him because you're near unto his son, because his son is the only creation created by the Father of spirits. And it's the mindset of the Father of spirits, who can neither be created nor destroyed. Proverbs 8, going back, and 22, the Yahweh possessed me in the beginning. And see, now it's making sense of his way before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, because he is the living water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, and you go into it and you can keep reading. Why was Yahawashi there? Yahawashi was there before he was actually created, because he's the mind of the Father. So he was the making of the things that is made. And then the Lord took his mind and made it manifest as a something that can speak back to himself. And that's his mind. That's what a creator does. A creator creates, and it takes a part of his mind. Like, I'm an artist. I paint and I draw myself, me. So when I paint, I take a piece of my mind and I express it into the canvas. And now the canvas is living, if you have ears to hear. Because I took a piece of what I understand and I gave you a visual of my mind, what's being played in my mind. That's how important Yahawashi is. You see? Before the earth was, I was. And that's why when you go to Colossians 1, it says the same thing. We're gonna jump right into the point though. Colossians 1 and 15. Because you can start at 12. It says, who is the image of the invisible power? Uh-oh, there go that word image. Because an image is a replication or a representation of what is representing. Okay? The image, right? We come in the image of the Lord, Yahawah, which means what? We uphold his reputation. Which is why Wisdom of Solomon 8 said that the wisdom maketh of man's face to shine. So when you link that back up, what we read earlier, going into First Kings chapter 4, starting at verse 29, later on it said what? Solomon was famous. He was known. He upheld a good reputation. What it says in when it says in Proverbs 31, dealing with the woman, her husband is known in the gates, the way she's upkept and the way she keeps herself and the way she's structured, because she's walking in wisdom. She's walking in what her husband taught her. Her husband upholds to what he's been taught because he's upholding the one teacher, which is wisdom, which is Yahweh Shai. He's walking in that mindset, that frame. So therefore, they're keeping the reputation of the heavens, which is Yahweh BAHASHAM, Yahweh Shai, and that's the image. Wisdom is not a woman. Wisdom is coming in a form of a nurturer. It says, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature? For by him were all things created, talking about Yahweh Shai, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, principalities, powers. All things were created by him and for him. You see? Because he's the first creation. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. It says, and he is the head of the body, the church, Israel, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, right? Because the elect came to do exactly what Yahweh Shai came to do. When you read Hebrews 2, it tell you that Yahweh Shai he came to embody, okay, the form that we're in. He came as Adam, he came as Isaac he came as Solomon, he came as himself. Not this time when he came as himself in his purest form, he conquered. That's why he said the last enemy to be conquered is death, which he did. He conquered that state. He came in the purest form of himself in a body that we uphold to, that's defiled in the world, right? He came in a perfect state and he conquered that. Okay, he died and then he rose again to conquer this state, to conquer this body. So therefore, the elect is doing the same thing. That's why when you read Hebrews chapter 2, it said it behooved him to be made unlike his brethren. Okay, he took joy in that. That's why the scriptures also tell you that the Lord was pleased, okay, with his son. He's pleased with the chastising of his son, because it brings forth and it manifests prophecy. It manifests the salvation of Israel. It manifests the wholeness. Now the whole can be whole again. Like if your brother get locked up, you know, you constantly put money on his books, you visiting him, and you keep feeding him, and then finally he get released. Now the body is made whole again. Your brother is home, and that's what Yahweh Shah is waiting for, us to come home. And the elect is doing exactly what Yahweh Shai did. The elect is conquering death. That's why it says this right here. Excuse me, still kind of under the weather. It says the firstborn from the dead. So he's the firstborn from the dead, which the elect are also conquering that state in the physical, and then they're going to do it in the spiritual. You see, because they're doing it right now in the physical like Yahweh Shai did. Because it says in Ezekiel 37, we were dry bones. We were in a dead state. And the elect are waking up to who they are, and they're conquering the state that they were in. The firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence. You see? That's why the scriptures I keep referencing Hebrews 2. It says that in Hebrews 2. So that he could be made a faithful and a merciful high priest. He conquered the state that we're in. For it pleased the Father that in him shall all fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be the things in earth or things in heaven. So now everything is reconciled, meaning it's brought back to its understanding. Being brought back to what it once knew. So he hath all fullness dwells in him. So that's why I was reading Wisdom of Solomon, because the contrary of that is what it says in verse 10. Wisdom of Solomon 3:10. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture. So what is this she? This she is for referring to a nurturing spirit, because wisdom nurtures you. It feeds us. That's why when you go into a fast, you focus on praying unto the Lord and reading the scriptures. That's why you can go so long without eating while you're fasting, if you're properly dialed into the spirit, because the spirit is feeding you heavenly food, manna, heavenly wisdom, heavenly food. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain, their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. And then you keep reading, it goes until you being a cursed individual. Okay, because a quick example of her as referencing not an actual woman would be Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman, meaning beautiful. Okay, because we're married unto the Father, going back into the understanding of role play, like our us playing our lots and us playing our roles. Okay, we're married unto the Father. Okay, he's the husbandman. Let's go to Isaiah real quick, man. Get a couple more. We're gonna close out. Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? There go that word doctrine again. Brother, if you watch this video, you gotta, the truth comes out. It came out of One West, and the Lord gave levels and increased the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. The truth come from Great Millstone, brother. 100% doctrine, 100% truth to receive salvation comes out of Great Millstone. Whether you like it, want to like it, believe it, receive it, or not. That's just the facts. Not boasting, we say this humbly. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Huh? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. This is like, this scriptures is like our mother, because you can also read when you go into Baruch 4 in different places. Okay, like Baruch 4 or 2nd Ezra chapter 2. Okay, it refers to the land of the our mother, our land, our is the mother of us all, our land, Jerusalem. Okay, it refers to her like being a nurturer. Okay, since we departed from our ways. Okay, we have no one to feed us. It's like an infant. Okay, an infant. When sometimes women give birth to infants and they might die. Well, that infant can't really properly get its proper nutrients, because that infant cannot breastfeed. So therefore, it has to have artificial or supplements, which is like formula and different things of such. All right. So, like I said, the scripts are considered our mother, the place we eat from. That's why it says, it lets you know that this is the word that is referring to. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And that's why I highlighted 13, because it tells you furthermore, but the word of Yahweh was unto them. So it break it down even more plain. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken, snared, and taken. So it's going into the word being that what that was actually referring to precept upon precept. You understand? Line upon line. Here a little, there a little. That's the actual word of the Father. So this is, matter of fact, let's get that in Proverbs 5. And let's go straight to the point. 18, let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Because the wife of our youth is what? This Bible. Let her be as the loving hand in pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. Because when you ravish something, you take hold onto it. It's a possession. This is near unto me. I'm aggressive with it. That's why brothers' Bibles be tore up and, falling apart, not intentionally, but because we're flipping pages and highlighting and studying, man. It says, let her be as thy loving kindness, a loving hand and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger? And that's what I was talking about, going back to the Garden of Eden, going back to Eve. Okay, she brought her husband a strange doctrine, a strange woman. So this is talking about doctrine. She and her and women are often referred to different things in the scriptures. This talking about doctrine. Earlier in 18, the wife of thy youth was talking about the Bible. Okay, her in Wisdom of Solomon 7 is referring to wisdom. Okay, and we all know that this is not talking about an actual woman. It's talking about the characteristic of a woman, because a woman is a nurturer. Okay, she provides nutrients that's healthy for the baby, for the infant's milk that comes directly from the breast. And that's what the Bible gives us. It gives us milk when we first start off. And then we transition into meat. Okay, because we grow thereby. Okay. Close with this. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So now therefore we're able to declare wisdom into the world, light, brightness. Okay, that's going to overpower this world, which is why Jeremiah 28:8 is so important, because this wisdom is speaking. Is literally speaking, and it's on fire, and it's devouring the whole earth from the four corners of the earth. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. The roll is the Bible. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness, man. So the woman, or the her in Wisdom of Solomon 7, is referring to the attributes of a woman in terms of nurturing. Okay, it feeds us. It provides milk unto us when we first repent and we come back into her. Okay, it allows us to be reborn. Okay, all these references of what happens with a woman. Okay, born. Okay, we're being born. Okay, we're born again. Okay, now we drink the milk. Okay, we grow. Okay, the milk helps us grow, and therefore we develop into eating more solid foods. Okay, if you have ears to hear, and we moving around the plate, and we getting better and better with our digestive system. We're not wild anymore. You see, and that's what the her is referring to in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Because we know that through her, the woman, we all die. And YAHAWASHI is the wisdom, the embodiment of the mind of the Father, Yahweh. All right. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to a member of the elect. I want to give all honor and glory again to Yahweh BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, HAQADASH. Double honors again to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who will teach you on sound doctrine. Until next time, Brother HAQADASH, Shalom.